Hello, friends, and welcome back to Stories About Entitled People. We begin our video with a story in which Karen, in her own style, starts demanding from our OP a dish they don't have. Of course, after the refusal, the tantrums began. But before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you're new here, and turn on notifications so you don't miss a new video every single day. Here we go. Karen's lie gets backfired. Restaurant story. So I had a job at the same fast food restaurant off and on for a total of 5 years. And in these years, I've witnessed so many entitled parents/kids stories that I can write a book about it. I'll start with this one. Some backstory. I started my job the same moment the restaurant was set up. So in these years, I got to know a lot about the company itself and knew almost all the locations. I also knew that our restaurant was the most north restaurant in the country, and the province next to us, let's call it Province L, had no restaurant within the franchise. Not every employee knew this, but I did. I also knew that when we had new products that needed to get tested by the community, this would be at restaurants in the capital of the country. Capital restaurants, and my province and Province L were nowhere near these restaurants. Because of my experience and bond I had with the employees and customers, the managers knew that I did not need help with crazy customers only when I called them. On to the story. There was a new vegetarian option tested only in the capital restaurants. Not every customer knew this, so when they asked for the product, I explained that we were not part of the test group. I always got a good response to this, until this happened. On a not-so-busy night, a young Karen walked in and bolts for my cash register. The conversation went something like this. Me, with a polite tone, "Welcome to restaurant name. How can I help?" Karen, "I want your vegetarian option now." Me, "Sorry, miss, only the capital restaurants belong to the test group. Sadly, we don't serve this option yet." Karen, screaming, "You're lying! I had it yesterday at Province L, and they told me it was served everywhere, so I want it. And since the customer is always right, you need to serve me what I ask." And that's where I place my trap card. We cashiers get yelled at a lot, but since I know that she was lying, or mistaking us for another restaurant, and yelling, I decided to play along. Me, "Oh, I'm sorry, I was confused with another product. I haven't had the sandwich yet. Is it any good?" Karen, "I really liked it, and I'm happy that you finally have a vegan option for the sandwiches." We already had that. Me, "I see, there's only one problem. You see that I know for a fact that Province L doesn't serve any of these sandwiches. Even better, none of our restaurants are in Province L." Karen's face became red, but not from shame. Oh no, from anger. Karen screaming, "Don't have that tone with me! I want to speak to your manager!" So I called my manager. Trap card activated. You see, I knew that my manager was in the kitchen out of view from customers, and I knew that when Karen started screaming for the first time, my manager would listen in. Manager with a large grin. "What seems to be the problem?" Karen, "Your employee has an attitude. I want a discount." Me, Karen wanted to order the vegan option that she ordered at our restaurant in Province L. Manager grabbed his phone and showed Karen the list with all the restaurants and all the provinces, and what a surprise, Province L was not on there. Manager, "You see, it might be the case that you've mistaken us with another franchise. In that case, I would not do anything, but since you started to yell at my employee, I would ask you to get the hell out of my restaurant. Or do you want me to call security?" Karen's face was priceless. With both anger and convulsion, she stormed off. But not before I told her to have a nice day. And our second story. Handcuff yourself and not come back to your job for an hour? Enjoy being unemployed. This happened around a week ago. I work at a sandwich delivery store. Most of the time it's pretty chill there. During lunch, however, it tends to get super busy. A trademark of the shop I work at is the speed at which we deliver, and as we have our speedy reputation to uphold, we need to staff plenty of delivery drivers to combat the lunch rush. All my coworkers are great. All work really hard, know what they're doing, and are all really awesome people. I've never had any issues with any of them the 7 or so months I worked there. That is until one delivery driver, who I'm just going to call Meathead, walked in the door. From day one, Meathead was a total jerk. He answered a phone and took somebody's order for a delivery. He said that it'd be out in 5 or 10 minutes. Since I'd worked there so long, I knew that during lunch, sandwiches take 5 minutes to leave the store max, and traffic is normally pretty bad, so I tried to tell him to instead say something like, "We'll have that out to you as soon as we can." That way customers are surprised if we get there fast, and will be more understanding if it takes longer than normal. Before I even finished my sentence, he stopped me and said that, "I've worked plenty of delivery jobs before. I don't need your help, bud." A few weeks go by. Meathead continues working and being a nuisance to everybody. He forgets things for his deliveries, sings obnoxiously while sitting around in the store while deliveries are piling up, takes super long on his deliveries, and constantly just doesn't do his job anywhere near as much as he should. People started to dislike him, most of all me. One day we were taking deliveries, going down the same main road our store sits on. I was behind a truck and he was in the left lane behind me. I switched lanes safely, took my delivery, and didn't think anything of merging in front of him. Later in the day, since delivery driving is so in and out, Meathead asked me if I'd gotten pulled over at all. I asked him what he was talking about. "Oh, you totally cut me off earlier on that one delivery, so I called my buddy who's a cop, gave him your plate number, and told him to pull you over." Haha. Funny joke, right? I was effing livid. I already didn't like him, but this put me over the edge. I was out to get him now. A week or so passes. Meathead decides it'd be really funny to show a coworker of ours how easy it is to get out of handcuffs. He handcuffs both handcuffs to one wrist, similarly to a bracelet. He tries to get them off, but couldn't. Obviously, that's pretty stupid, but he could still drive and had full mobility of both arms. While all that was happening, we had a delivery come up, and it was his turn to take it. "Hey, Meathead, you got a delivery up?" He said okay. He walks out to his car, and I figured he'd take the delivery with him. 10 minutes later, I see the delivery sitting on a table in the lobby. I run him the delivery and tell him to take the delivery, which he does. To where this delivery was going, it was right on the edge of our delivery zone. So when 30 minutes passed and he still wasn't back, I didn't really suspect anything. Another 15 minutes passed and he still wasn't back. I called him multiple times and he never picked up. An hour had passed and we were fairly busy, and I was the only other driver, so I was having to take lots of deliveries. On my way back from a delivery, I saw his car parked outside a gas station. I pulled over to try and figure out where the hell this guy had been, and he runs out of the gas station as soon as he sees me. I asked him where the hell he'd been, and he made a bullcrap excuse up that he'd gone to the police to get his handcuffs off, but of course they couldn't get their own handcuffs off, so the fire department had to get them off for him. In addition to this, he'd apparently gotten his phone stolen, which I found out later was a lie. He finally gets back to the store and explained what happened to our manager, who obviously wasn't thrilled he'd screwed us over for a whole hour for a self-inflicted problem, which wasn't preventing him from doing his job. At the end of their shifts, managers at my store need to send out emails describing what had happened during their shift. I asked my manager if I could write it instead. These emails go to the general manager, the store owner, and the district manager. She had no issue letting me describe the detail of all the idiotic tendencies Meathead had. Meathead left for a few days after to try and get into the military again. Meathead got a text from my general manager a few days from when he was due back that he didn't have a job anymore. He might have gotten fired regardless of if I wrote the email or not, but GD, did it feel good to F him out of his job more or less. I wonder, why do people like being jerks to others? Nice job, he deserved the karma. And our last story. Karen won't help a blind man because he's too useless to find it himself. This happened to my friend, who we'll call Bill. Bill became fully blind in his early 20s from macular degeneration. He's now in his early 50s, and although he does a great job of getting around, he has a seeing eye dog who does a good job getting him around town, he does have trouble with things sometimes. His hearing's really good, and he can usually recognize my voice and the sound of my power wheelchair. I also use a wheelchair. Even though I can see well enough, my hearing is extremely sensitive and I can hear things from a long way away. A while back, before COVID, I was downtown doing some shopping. I was in the grocery store when I heard some commotion in another aisle, so I went to investigate. I could hear Bill and another woman talking, and as I rounded the corner, I saw Bill, his dog was standing defensively in front of him, and a textbook Karen standing near the chips and biscuits. Their conversation went something like this. It was a while ago, so the dialogue won't be exact. Bill: "Miss, please, I just..." Cut off. Karen: "Find someone who works here, or get your damn dog to find what you want. It's not my fault you're too useless to know where things are." Me: "What? Excuse me? What the heck is your problem?" Karen: "Oh, goody, it's the cripple parade to the rescue." Me, ignoring Karen: "Bill, it's OP. Are you okay?" Bill: "I asked this woman if she could help me find the chips, and she started yelling at me to find it myself." Bill wears sunglasses, and it's visibly obvious that he's blind. Me, extremely angry at this point: "What the hell is your problem, ma'am? Wake up with your panties in a twist?" Ignorance and stupidity, although plausible, don't count as disabilities, so how about you run along and let me help? Because clearly I'm more capable of navigating the store than you. Karen: "How dare you, you little..." Cut off. Me: "No, ma'am, stop. Walk away now, before I make you. My chair goes much faster than you. You want to test me?" Karen: You. And she walked away, not wanting to know if I was bluffing. I wasn't. I helped Bill find everything else he needed, and we didn't see Karen again after that. It takes a lot to make me angry, and rude people are at the top of the list of things that get my goat. It takes a few seconds to help someone, so I don't get why she blew up at him about it. I know it's not Karen's job to help him, but there are better ways to avoid helping someone than yelling and insulting them. Absolutely ignorant. Thank goodness you were there to step in. Some people are the worst. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.